Hi, I'm Ryan Webb from Ryan Webb Limited, a construction company based in Chelmsford, Essex. I'm here in Woodford Green at Essex Hair Studios, having a look at some work which has been classified unsafe. Bell has spent over £3,500 on this project for it to be condemned. I think what they've tried to do is divide the two businesses using glass to allow the natural light through. Obviously, she is a hairdresser, so she needs natural light, it's quite important. What they've designed here is a shelving rack for products, hairdressing products, I suppose, and they're not very safe. I've literally just pulled that off. So what they've done is tried to fix this with little cuts of MDF and glue with pins. It's never going to be adequate to withstand the test of time. They've also made these little cubby hole sections which are really out of square. It's just falling apart. This is a week and a half old. The glass is a 4mm glass. It's not adequate to be used in a commercial property. It needs to be at minimum a glass this size, a 10mm toughened glass. I think realistically I've got to take this whole lot down. It cannot be kept there. It's not safe. Someone's going to get hurt. See, what they've done here is they haven't really given it any lateral strength. There's nothing going up to the ceiling to stop it wobbling. They've used a CLS timber as well, which is not finishing timber. You end up with little bumpy bits like this down here. It's all rounded. It's just a rough, quick grown timber. Obviously, as you can see here, the workmanship is really poor. My background is carpentry and joinery, so what I'm going to do is completely rip this out, and I'm going to put 4 separate posts going straight to the ceiling to give it that integrity. Put 2 panels in between, panelled with a shaker style, a section in the middle for shelving where you can put her products. Glass panels are going to be going through from in between each 4x4 posts, and the florist is going to come along and put a willow up each post to make it look like a trunk, and the flower's going to come and drape down the glass. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole partition down. We're going to replace it with something a lot more substantial. From here, we're going to have a 4x4 post going to the ceiling with stop chamfer edges. Across the bottom here, we're going to have a shaker style panel. Here, approximately here, we're going to have another 4x4 post, approximately 600 over, another post. In between that section, we're going to put an MDF boxing shelf unit with mirrored back. Across the top layer here, we're going to have a 10mm toughened glass panel, which is what this should have been. And then we're going to repeat that identically over here. So they've built this all out of CLS. What we're going to do is we're going to build it out of a Swedish pine. It's going to be PSE as well, so the grade of finish will be a lot better when painting. As you can see, their painting quality was awful. They've not sanded in between coats, so you've left with this really bumpy finish. We're going to use MDF boxing in the centre with the glass panels at the back, the glass mirrored panels. The glass they've used it just wasn't up to scratch, and we're going to use a 10mm toughened glass, which is what it should have been done. The way in which this guy has built this framework is never going to work. It's never going to be substantial. It's never going to last a test of time, and eventually someone was going to get hurt. When I heard about this story, I heard through my sister, who's a florist, so I come and had a look. Once I had a look, it really got me down. I thought that someone could do this to someone. Someone could actually tell someone they could do a good job and perform like this is just beyond reasoning for me. The guy was a family friend, so I think there's a lesson to be learnt here. You know, family friends, just because your family knows someone or he says he could do the job, it doesn't necessarily mean he knows what he's doing or he's capable of doing it. The problem with this sort of thing, it happens so often. It's always happening all the time, and I see it so often. And I think, you know, from what I've seen, from what I've heard the lady was distraught. She was crying. She wanted to relaunch her salon, and to be greeted with this workmanship must have been really hard to handle. I think, you know, if I could give something back, try and help here, try and sort of do the best job I possibly can, and not worry about the expenses, what I'm going to charge. I'm just going to try. All I care about is making this woman's salon exactly how she hoped it would be. It's just a shame that there's builders out there or there's craftsmen out there who say they could do things. I think you just have to look out for a few signs, a few little signs which might tell you that they're not really who they say they are or can do what they can do. One sign, I suppose, would be a family friend. Don't, just because your family friend knows them and says they can do the job doesn't necessarily mean they can. I think we need to, you need to be checking references. You need to be looking on Trusted Trader, maybe on their websites, have a look on their social media, see if they're active. If you want to go so far, you can check their financials and company house, for instance. If they're not earning over £80,000 a year, they're not going to be VAT registered, which could be another indicator. I think just working around those parameters, you might be able to ensure that you will get the service you are looking for.